Veterans and Medicare. When it comes to veterans and Medicare, there are two types of veterans that we tend to work with: those that retired from the United States Armed Forces and those that served in the United States Armed Forces. For the content of this video, we're really going to be talking about those that served in the United States Armed Forces, not those that retired, because that's a completely different video. So we're talking about those that have a VA healthcare identification card like this. Now, if you're new to Medicare and you're probably watching this video asking, what is this Medicare thing? Typically, Medicare is something you get at age 65, but you can be under age 65 and get Medicare if you find yourself disabled and receiving payments for 24 months. But the most important thing to know, if you're a vet and you're approaching this Medicare thing, is that there is a cost to enroll in Medicare. And it is for this reason that a lot of veterans put this Medicare thing on the back burner. Now, let me show you why you may not want to do something like that. So, one of the things you need to know about your VA healthcare is it's not health insurance. So, what does that mean? It means that Medicare says if you don't pay for Medicare and enroll in their program, that there will be penalties. But the only people that really pay penalties are those that do not have what's considered creditable coverage in Medicare's eyes. Now, here's the big mic drop here. VA is not creditable for health coverage, meaning you are subject to the Medicare Part B penalty. Now, it is creditable for the prescription drug portion, or Medicare Part D, but it is not for Medicare Part B. So, not everybody gets the same exact VA coverage either. So when somebody says to us, hey, I have VA, the question is, what priority level are you in? Because some people can get their VA based on their income, meaning it's temporary. So if you're lower income and you have VA benefits and you're a veteran, that type of priority status is lower, meaning if you start to make a higher income later, you could actually lose your benefits and your VA goes away. So the VA has a number of different priority statuses, and based on your level of priority status depends on what kind of benefits you actually get. And so if you lost your VA coverage and you then said, oh my gosh, I need to get this Medicare thing because I didn't do it when I was supposed to, you will be penalized. Under Medicare Part B, the medical program through Medicare, it's 10% for every 12-month period, and enrollment timeframes are restricted, so you may not be able to get into the Medicare program for a number of months, and you'll pay a penalty. And you kind of want to avoid that if at all possible. Now, what does the VA say? The VA says they recommend that you enroll or stay enrolled in Medicare. And I have heard story after story of somebody going to the VA and the VA says, hey, drop your Medicare. Why are you paying for that? You got great coverage. VA themselves on their website, you can read it for yourself. Go to va.gov/healthcare, click around, see what they say about Medicare, and you can confirm that what I just said here is absolutely correct. Now, somebody that has a priority status that is high may say, hey, I'm in a priority status, I'll never lose my VA coverage, so maybe for that person it's okay if they don't enroll in Medicare. Well, let's look at this scenario. So if you have a service-connected disability and you receive a medical procedure through the VA that is not connected to your disability, there is a possibility that you will be on the hook for that money. There is scenarios where that happens. It's rare, but it does, which means if you had your Medicare, then it would come in pretty handy if that ended up having to happen to you. So the other thing about Medicare is, if you're wondering, do I need to enroll in Medicare's drug program called Part D? You do not. The VA coverage, although it's not creditable for medical, it is creditable for the drug benefit. So it's not necessary for you to enroll in a Medicare Part D program. Your VA coverage counts as that. So even if you lost your VA and a number of years down the road, you wanted to go re-enroll, or you wanted to go enroll in a Medicare Part D program, they would say your VA coverage was creditable and you wouldn't pay the Part D penalty. The other benefit to having Medicare A and B is you'll be eligible for all kinds of different private Medicare insurance options, such as like a Medicare Advantage plan. Now, an Advantage plan combines your A, B, your drug benefit, and all kinds of extra things, and they kind of throw it into this one plan, and they also call this Medicare Part C. Now, I think Medicare Advantage plans make a lot of sense for a veteran because a Medicare Advantage plan will work with your VA benefits, and it will provide you additional things that the VA doesn't cover and Medicare doesn't cover. And you can pick one of these up for no or a very low monthly premium. Many of the plans don't have a premium at all, but there are some plans out there that are $20 a month, maybe a little bit more, and they'll give you vision and dental, gym memberships. They all work a little bit different as far as those extra benefits. Some pay for your vitamins over the counter and groceries. And some of these Advantage plans will actually help you pay for your Medicare Part B premiums. But you may say, hey, that's all good and dandy. Don't really care about it. That is your option, and that's fine. But here's what I like to communicate to veterans, something maybe they can relate to. So if you're somebody that uses the VA for everything, by all means, use the VA for everything. Why wouldn't you? We will call that your primary parachute. But there's a lot of scenarios where that primary parachute might get hung up on something, or it may not deploy correctly, or you may have some issues in the from an operational standpoint of the VA. So what we recommend is that you do get a reserve parachute. An Advantage plan makes an incredible reserve parachute. My thought on veterans, being a veteran myself, is, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do it? I always encourage veterans, hey, pick up a Medicare Advantage plan. It doesn't really hurt anything, and it gives you some really nice extra things. So the other thing about Advantage plans is it will work with any VA priority level, anyone at all. It will help you pay for uncovered services if that comes up. It also gives you another Medicare Part D program. Veterans are the exception. They can actually have two creditable Medicare drug programs at the same time. They're the only ones that literally can do that. But there are Advantage plans that don't cover drugs, so you can just use the VA's drug benefit, and your Advantage plan are really just about the extra benefits. It can give you some extended benefits for emergency and urgent care, all kinds of extra things. It can also provide you access to new providers. Now, I know what you're thinking with the VA. Yes, you can go out into the civilian world. Those providers still need to be VA contracted doctors. An Advantage plan is really ideal for getting second opinions because you can really open up medical providers should you want to do that and get medical opinions from non-VA contracted doctors. I can tell you hundreds of stories where veterans were really appreciative that they had an Advantage plan as that reserve parachute. And if your VA coverage ever did go away, check this out. Your Advantage plan is right there. Just because you lose VA coverage, if that ever happened to you, your Advantage plan will remain. As long as you have A and B Medicare, that Advantage plan will be right there for you. If you want to know more about Advantage plans, go to our website. So at resourcemedicare.com, we have a whole platform of free tools and resources to help you take control of your Medicare. If you don't want to do that, you can just subscribe to our Medicare Academy YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.